Facebookers, it's Matt, WKD Trained Dogs. Over the last couple of days I've been in conversation with a lady on our Facebook page talking about different methodologies, training approaches, and it brought us round to a conversation between the two of us about putting labels on dog training. And I thought I'd make a little post for you about how labels complicate things and put people in them and us camps and create barriers between different people. Now, firstly, I just want to say that this conversation I've had in the comments on one of our posts has probably been, in fact it has been, the nicest, easygoing conversation with somebody else where there's differing opinions that I've ever had when it comes to dog training. Normally it's very difficult to have a conversation with somebody who views things differently, because immediately, if you're not thinking of it the way they are, they absolutely disagree with it and they won't even engage in conversation, and there's just no debate to be had. However, this one was very different, and we actually had a really engaging conversation. Didn't go quite as long as it could have done, because I'm sure she's as busy as I am, but it was really refreshing to be able to have a conversation with somebody and just put things out there. And actually we agreed on much more than we probably disagreed on, even though we come at things from a different angle. So the labels that generally get put on people are force-free, positive, reinforcement based, purely positive, balanced, negative, traditional. So they're the different labels. Now, where do I stand on that? What label gets put on me? Well, do you know, I don't really know. I'm just a dog trainer, and I just look at a dog that's put in front of me, and I use skill and timing and awareness and experience to get the best from that dog as fast as I possibly can, to get the dog into a better place where it can live a great life and it's happy. And so I wouldn't say I'm not purely positive. I certainly wouldn't say I'm traditional, although I might use some traditional techniques. But what I do when I do them is I do them very well, with good timing and a lot of finesse. I don't put undue pressure on a dog. Ultimately what I want to do is produce a dog that's happy in its work and wants to do it, but it also knows that it's not something that it can choose not to do when I ask it to come back when it's called. It's got to do it because it's asked to. But I certainly don't want a dog that's kind of sullen and withdrawn and, you know, miserable and doesn't want to engage and it's quiet. I want a dog that's happy and good fun to be with. So I tend to use a balanced approach, I would say. Generally I'll edge on the side of positive reinforcement if I can, but I also appreciate and understand, and I've done a lot of testing with it, that sometimes you can put a little bit of pressure on and it moves you forward way faster than you could have done if you'd done it in a purely positive way or a positive way. And it just helps you get the results that you want a little bit quicker, to get the dog in a position where it's really well behaved. A good example of that's with the recall. So you can spend years and years on trying to positively reinforce it and they never get a good recall, or you could put a little bit of work in positively, then you could put a little bit of pressure on the dog, and within a couple of weeks you've got a dog that you can let off lead everywhere and it comes back every time it's called, happy, relaxed, chilled out, not suffering any trauma from the pressure that you put on it if you've done it right, but at least it comes back. Now, I'd much prefer to put a little bit of pressure on a dog over a couple of days, get the recall sorted so that it can be off lead for the rest of its life, than have a dog that's stuck on lead for the next 10 years. Ethically, I just think that's better. So there's other labels that I put on people. Behaviourist, don't really know what that one means. I see lots of dogs that have been to behaviourists and their behaviour's rubbish when they come to me, and then when they leave their behaviour's good. Dog psychologist, yeah, okay. I'm certainly not one of those. I just look at the dog in front of me and just work with it and train it to be the best it can be. I don't know, it's a tricky one. Labels tend to make excuses for certain things, or they put people in different camps. And if I was to say that somebody's a negative trainer, then that means that all the time they're negative, so everything they do is negative. There's no positivity at all in their training. If I was to say that someone's positive only, then that means everything that they do is purely positive, so generally they'll ignore bad behaviour and reward good behaviour, hoping that they're going to extinguish the bad behaviours. If someone's balanced, which is probably what I'd say I am, then it means that I'm happy to use and I know how to use both approaches, and I use them appropriately to get the best results from the dog that I'm working with on an individual basis. Now, let's just say that I was going to train a dog to sit and I was going to use a more traditional approach. I've got probably 50 different ways of getting a dog to sit by putting pressure on it. The aim is putting enough pressure on to get the job done whilst keeping the dog in a happy, learning and receptive state. So I'm going to get a dog that I've never met before, and I'm going to try the first method and see if it works and move on to the next one if it's not quick enough. Now, I know how fast I can teach a dog to sit when I use the right method, so if that dog doesn't respond as fast as I'd like it to the first method I've tried, I'm going to do the next one. And if that one doesn't work, I'll do the next one until I find the one that works the best for that dog and that dog understands and wants to work with. Once I've got that, I'm just going to stick with that method. I might have to tweak things as I move forwards, but I'm going to stick with that method until the dog sits every time I ask it to. Now, the same if I was doing it positively. What I would do is I'd try it with a piece of chicken, and the dog didn't like chicken. I'd try a piece of cheese, and then I'd try a piece of ham, and then I'd use my voice, and then I'd use physical touch, and you know, try all the different positive ones to see which one motivates the dog most, because this is not so much about what I want to do, it's about what the dog wants me to do. I need to train the dog in a way that the dog can understand, and so it's a good experience for me and the dog when we're out training. Dog training is really self-rewarding, you know. If you're getting it right, then the dog's responsive, and so things move forward in the way that you want them to. If you're getting it wrong, whether you're doing it positively, negatively, or with a balanced approach, then you end up in a position where it's really frustrating. Ultimately, what I want to do is have happy, well-behaved, easygoing dogs that do what they're told, do what they're asked when I ask them to do it. Here's an example. Dogs! Alright kids. Really stressed out dogs. Patsy! Stressed out dogs from the pressure of their training. Good girl. How are you boy? Well then. Whoa! Nearly wiped me out. So Molly's just ran into my feet. She's clearly not bothered about getting kicked by me, even though I'm a traditional trainer. Come on then. Good boy. Molly, come. Good girl. Sid, lie down. Good boy. Sid. Good lad. So, in summary, I don't like labels in dog training. I think they cause problems. I think they stick people in a box and they feel like they can't come out of it. When I'm training a dog, I just tend to do what works best for me and for the dog to get the results that I'm after, help the dog move forward in a happy way towards a fulfilling life where it can go and have the freedom, be well behaved and do what you ask of it. If you want to know more about what we do, give this video a like, share it, put a question in the comments if you've got one, and I'll see you next time.